I don't know. But I don't like it. Hello, my wonderful viewers, and welcome to another episode of Betty Adams Overanalyzes. Today, we are going to take a fully spoiler look at Kaiju number 8, Kaiju number 8, anime, episode 2. It's going to take me a while to rewrite that program in my brain. Alright, Kaiju number 8, episode 2. As a whole, I loved this episode. It slaps just as hard as episode 1, but there was one thing in it that I did not like. Not one little bit, and I've been chewing over it and thinking and wondering if it's going to affect the anime as a whole. Is it a red flag? Is it an orange flag? Is it not going to matter in the long run? It is just a small thing. But let's get into the episode. The episode starts off and we get the classic scene that is going to be so important moving forward. I'm not going to go into the details why. If you want to go read the manga, watch my videos on the manga, you'll find out why. But here we have Reno and Kafka. It has already occurred to them that there are people, super competent people with guns hunting them. But they see an old man who they don't know, a relative stranger, collapsing in front of them from fear. And their first thought is not run, it's not escape, it's we need to calm down this old man who might be having a heart attack. This is a small moment, but it really shows how Matsumoto writes these characters as true heroes. They're not paragons of virtue in every way, but when faced with another human being suffering in front of them, they instinctively do what is in their power to help that human. This is where the core of their heroism is. And in the interest of making sure you know that these are very flawed protagonists, they are not paragons of skill either, their attempt to comfort the old man goes miserably wrong. Now, pay attention to what's going on here. This will come in very important in later chapters. Kafka tries to comfort the old man with a smile, but his body is just horribly transformed, and he has this face made of bone, and the smile just is something terrifying to look upon. And nearly gives the old man a heart attack. At which point, Reno points out that they're not doing any good here. Their presence is a danger to the hospital, and they need to skedaddle. So they skedaddle. And then we have the scene that I'm kind of known for overanalyzing. They're skedaddling along, and then suddenly the nipple scene happens, and they both freak out, and in the moment this seems like just a silly little 12-year-old potty humor type of scene, but one of the things you're going to learn if you stick with the series is that Matsumoto is a master of hiding important plot points and important world building behind common and simple Shonen Jump tropes. So even though this just seems to be a bit of potty humor, it will be very important for world building and possibly plot development going on in the story. So pay attention to the ridiculous in this show. Then we get the classic hero scene, where Kafka has to put his line on the line to save the girl, not just endangering himself in the fight with the other kaiju, but putting himself directly in the line of the oncoming 3rd Division. And that scene goes as we see. He shows himself to be a true hero, he gains a mild control over his body, and then he and Reno escape. Then we get to the added scene, the scene that we did not get in the manga, and the scene that has me cringing a little bit, because I think it takes something away from the story in the manga. So at the very end, when the 3rd Division shows up, Mina and Hoshina are investigating the scene, which makes sense. The manga implied that it was someone else who investigated the scene, but it actually makes a lot of sense that they would be investigating the scene. The problem is the manga kind of stated that Reno took the little girl and her mother to the hospital. He didn't just leave them with first responders there at the scene. So that's a slight break in continuity. And the reason they do that is so that Mina can have the scene with the little girl, where the little girl says, "You're not going to hurt the good kaiju." And I get why they added this scene. I understand. I just don't like it. For a reason. Now, I'm going to get into spoilers for the manga. No, I should avoid those. Okay, I'm going to try to balance not spoiling the manga with saying why I don't like this. This is a clue that is out of place in time with the manga story. This clue in the anime takes something away from the Defense Force officers who were investigating this mysterious event. I mean, it's no spoilers going forward that this is going to be a tremendously mysterious event for the Defense Force. A strange kaiju shows up in the hospital. Nobody's hurt except the old man who falls down. There is a very, very standard kaiju attack, similar to the attack that happened earlier in the day. Bog standard, except the kaiju was neutralized. Its body was torn apart. And it was stated... no spoilers for the manga. Okay, so here the Defense Force has a distinct clue to what happened in the situation where the kaiju was attacking the mom and the little girl. In the anime, they have a clear and defined clue. In the manga, they did not. And this is going to change how the Defense Force investigates it, inevitably. And the first clue that Kaiju number 8 is not a bloodthirsty monster, therefore comes in this episode 2. Whereas the first clue that Kaiju number 8 was not a bloodthirsty monster did not come till much later in the manga. And I really, really want to analyze this further, but I will wait until the point in the anime where the details would come up, because I don't want to spoil it for anybody. It would spoil some serious relationships. So I do not necessarily like that the little girl asked Mina if she was going to hurt the nice kaiju, because that is too blunt of a clue too early in the relationship between Kaiju number 8 and the Defense Force that they're not dealing with the bloodthirsty monster here. But what do you think, my wonderful viewers? Is this clue that the Defense Force gives too much too soon, tilts the odds in Kaiju number 8's favor too early? Or do you think it was just fine and a natural alteration that needed to be made for the sake of the anime? Tell me what you think in the comments below. Hit that like and subscribe button, and peace out, my wonderful viewers.
Drake McCarty's leg was shattered, deep in the wilderness. As the flash flood closed over him, something alien pulled him from the waters. A military base that shouldn't exist. An ancient warrior with secrets of his own. Drake returns to his family with a whole leg and the burden of a secret he doesn't understand. In the forest around them, someone is watching, and something followed him home. Flying Sparks. 90,000 words of science fantasy adventure. The first novel in the Dying Embers universe is now available on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Kobo by Rakuten, Google Play Books, and from the author as a signed copy. Get your copy now and step into a world where dragons walk the forest, aliens lurk on the mountain, and things go boomp in the night.
Escape into another world with the writings of author Betty Adams. Two worlds, one of utter absurdity, one of dramatic tension, both alike in aliens absolutely astounded by human behavior. Humans are weird, short, absurd science fiction stories. Flying sparks, dragons, aliens, and things that go boom in the night.
Books available on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Kobo by Rakuten, Google Play Books, and at authorBettyAdams.com for a signed copy.